That's a political question, not an economic one. So that really is up to the politicians. And if it does not happen, the deal cannot be blamed.
With the end of the negotiating period, the United Kingdom has well and truly left the European Union. But what are the implications of the new deal which the UK has signed with the EU under Boris Johnson? Here to talk about this today is Hermann Pretorius from the Institute of Race Relations. So Hermann, what exactly has Britain achieved with this new deal that they've struck with the European Union?
Well, in short, Nick, I think we can say it has achieved Brexit. It has delivered on the result of the referendum in June 2016, despite the intervening years being plagued by political tumult, mostly down to political instability on the side of the United Kingdom. I think your listeners or your viewers will remember that David Cameron won a majority government in 2015, which made his pledge to hold the plebiscite the responsibility of his unexpectedly achieved majority Conservative government. And then upon the loss of the Remain side in the campaign, during which David Cameron, of course, played a very prominent role, he felt he could not be the person to take his country beyond that point. Then there was the political drama that only a Tory party leadership contest can offer, with backstabbings and front stabbings and fumbles, to such a degree that the big beasts of Brexit, Michael Gove and Boris Johnson, eliminated each other, and Theresa May ended up being the last woman standing. So she inherited a slim majority in the House of Commons from David Cameron. But then in 2017, she called an election to strengthen her negotiating position. That election backfired politically. She lost the Conservative majority, and Britain then between 2017 and 2019 really was plagued by the political question of the government of the day not having a majority in parliament to get anything through. That led to a breakdown in all manner of party disciplines and was only really resolved when Boris Johnson won the election in December 2019 with the biggest electoral majority since Margaret Thatcher in '87. That gave him the very truncated but ultimately seemingly successful timeline of making sure that the three core pledges of the Brexit campaign, of which he was the leader, to take control of laws, money, and borders, are delivered on. And it seems from a reading of the deal that has been accomplished. Britain, the UK, is now, in terms of laws, money, and borders, back in control.
One of the ever-present problems that people faced during the Brexit negotiations was that of the Irish border, the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Now, due to the Irish peace process, having a soft border was incredibly important so that no more fighting would break out. However, logistically, this seemed very, very difficult considering the different regulatory bodies which would be in place following Brexit. So what kind of a solution have the parties come to on the Irish border question?
I must say that this is a point of, I think, real evidence pragmatism between the United Kingdom and the European Union, where the interpretation of relationships and of earlier frameworks for agreement really allowed the soft border situation to remain in place. In this regard, I think one of the important points is how the UK and the EU took a rather loose definition on the origin of goods to make sure that if a product is contributed to within the United Kingdom, whether it is solely originated from the United Kingdom, the EU and the UK would consider the UK to be that product's point of origin. And that goes a long way to easing the issue, because what we really face on the Irish border between the Republic and Northern Ireland is, can that be a point of leakage for the integrity of the EU customs Union through trusted trader schemes, where the big traders who frequently cross that border with goods, with the use of trusted trader schemes and with a rather pragmatic definition of origin of goods, they've really arrived at a point where trade over that border can go mostly uninterrupted. And then finally, on that point, they strengthened the existing position, to the unhappiness of some of the unionist parties of Ireland, of the two islands, the Republic and the Northern Ireland, being in a customs union with regards to agricultural products. So that remains in place. So those three elements, maintaining the agricultural unity of the two islands, instilling trusted trader schemes, and creative and pragmatic definitions of some terms like goods and the origin of goods, they have achieved to have a relatively pragmatic, a soft border between the two islands, of course, with some unhappiness, but I think compromise was always inevitable.
And finally, I think another interesting development from Brexit is that we've begun to see many British politicians talking about a global Britain. This is a new term that has come to be used now in the political lexicon in Britain. Can we expect Britain to be trading more with the rest of the world? And perhaps might I ask, what do you think this means for us here in South Africa?
I must say that the global Britain concept has always been a part of the Brexit lexicon, at least going back 35 years. But for the first time, you have a government willing and eager to act on that. Now, what does global Britain mean? Well, it comes down to the Brexiteer argument that the EU represents a shrinking a trade partner. And some of the facts do seem to bear this out. 10 years ago, the EU was in fact 50% of the UK's destination for export. It seems now to be in the mid-40s, and seemingly the trajectory has a clear direction downward. So the question really then becomes for the UK, can they find exporters in those markets currently emerging across the world as places that might have an appetite for British goods and services that might be provided through whatever global free trade deals they can muster. So the idea really is to diversify from a EU-dominated economy to one where perhaps the Commonwealth, with the community of laws and language, can offer the UK new markets for what they seek to sell. In this regard, South Africa might get some good benefit here as a new destination for export if we maintain the necessary purchasing power on our side, but also from Africa's point of view. The EU's protectionist barriers to protect agricultural production within the EU itself has been quite detrimental to, I think, many farmers on the African continent who wanted to access a rich market just to the north of the continent, but up to now couldn't really because of those trade barriers. And the UK, politically, if the will is there, can now significantly offer that opportunity for agricultural products to flow from African countries like South Africa to the UK. That's a political question, not an economic one. So that really is up to the politicians. And if it does not happen, the deal cannot be blamed.
Hermann, thanks very much for your insight. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and give it a share. If you'd like access to our 30-day free trial, see it in the link in the description. And let us know in the comments what you think about Boris Johnson's deal with the European Union. Until next time.